We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships.
This is the Couples Academy Show.
Hey, good morning. You are watching the Couples Academy Show. My name is Lakeisha Hines, and I have
Joel Smith
and
Janella Bradley
with me. As you can see, the ladies are running the show this morning, okay? Listen, I know y'all used to that chocolate debonair bald head man on here. I know you used to seeing him. Well, guess what? He and his beautiful queen are celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary today. Isn't that insane? 20 years of having to deal with Hassani. I'm just kidding. You guys, wish them a happy anniversary today. We are so excited, so happy for them. They are on an airplane right now going to a beautiful destination. They can share their business with you if they want to, but they're getting ready to enjoy their 20th wedding anniversary. So that's why Hassani's not here today. And so we are 3 of his Avengers, and we are here to talk to you guys today about sexless marriages. This is a really important topic. I'm sure you know it's extremely important to me. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to having this conversation with you guys. And yeah, we're just looking forward to being able to hopefully give you guys some insight and just get a deeper understanding of how important sex is in your relationship. Excuse me. So I want to start it off with just discussing some reasons why people might have a sexless marriage. All of this may not apply to you, so if it doesn't, that's okay. But I'm sure that there's something, if you are having a sexless marriage, I'm sure there's something we'll touch on today that will speak to your situation. Feel free to drop your comments. Let us know where you're streaming from. And again, any questions that you have, if we have time to answer, we certainly will, but it won't hurt to put them in there, because if we don't get to them today, guess what? There's always tomorrow, and there's always Friday as the experts. All right. So one of the first reasons why there may be a sexless marriage is because of medical or health issues. And so we have the honor and the privilege and my pleasure to have a medical professional with us today. So I'm actually going to slide over to you, Miss Janella, and I will weigh in on this topic.
Well, I will be that medical professional. I am Janelle, and I am a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse now for over 20 years. So, of course, medical issues can definitely play a role in a woman not wanting to have sex. Definitely, if you're not feeling good, you probably don't want to have sex, because definitely you want to be feeling good and alive and ready. But sometimes there's things that's going on in the body that may slow that desire down. And it's a real thing. You know, sometimes women are looked at as superheroes because we wear so many hats and different things like that. So it's almost like a joke. Like when a woman has a cold or the flu or something, she still got to pick up the kids. You got to do this, do that. I mean, the list goes on, and that list includes sex. Like sometimes the expectation is when a woman is not feeling well, she should still be able to perform in the bedroom. But sometimes that just cannot happen for a million reasons. I mean, we can literally take up the entire show talking about it, but some of the things that may include her having issues may be hormonal issues. We know that one may come up in many different phases, not just we hear it with menopause, but also prior to menopause. Women may have issues having sex because the lack of desire may be there. They may have pain during sexual intercourse. It may be an issue that prior to sex, they already know that there's going to be an issue. So they may just automatically begin to pull back. And when we're thinking about medical issues, sometimes we just assume that something is going on and we haven't even checked it out with a medical provider. So you're all worked up in your head. You don't even have the desire. So it's just like a snowball effect. So if there is a medical issue or you believe one, please check with your medical provider to, one, verify that it's there. And then there may be things that actually can be put in place to change this around, turn this around, and it won't even be an issue for you. And I know we all can attest to pregnancy here. We all have children. Every last one of us that you see have children. So we know, like, during pregnancy, sometimes some women have a very high desire, and that would be great. But then there's the other side that do not, because of the hormonal changes that are going on in the body, and the desire is just not there. The libido is low. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So those are some of the things with medical that women can experience that may withhold them from having sex.
I think that's good, Janella. I mean, you touched on so many good points. And I'll say also, when you talked about the pregnancy, which we are going to talk about that a little bit more, but before we go there, I want to give Jewel an opportunity to weigh in on the health stuff. But one of the things that you said that really stood out to me is what's going on during the pregnancy. Guess what? Oftentimes women are sick during the pregnancy. There's morning sickness. You know, some women, their blood pressure goes up. There's all these different things that can come with pregnancy that we have no clue what's going to happen. You know, when you get pregnant, you're just excited most times, you know, that you're pregnant, and you're just focused on that part, and you're not thinking about, man, I'm going to be tired. Man, I'm going to be sleeping a lot. Man, my back is going to hurt. My ankles are going to be swollen. I'm going to have headaches. I'm going to be nauseous and vomiting. Like, you're not thinking about all of those things. And that can, and it does affect your sex life. So, Jewel, I want you to weigh in on how health and medical issues can affect your sex life.
Yes. And before I even get to that point, hysterectomies, women that have to have hysterectomies at a very young age.
Yes.
That alone can just make a sexless marriage. The fact that you have nothing left, you have no hormones, and, I always used to say let's start with the fact that I had to have one at a very young age. I think I was only like maybe 35. I was in my early 30s or whatever the situation may be. So any spouse that is going through that situation, it is very important that husband attends your doctor's appointments with you, because they need to be able to understand what is going to take place from this point on. And I don't know if men really believe us when we say we have no sex drive. We don't want to have sex. It's not that we don't want to have sex, but when you don't have that urge or that feeling, or that thing that comes over you, be like, yes, let's do it. It just, so at those points, everything has to be up here. You have to now relate to that woman in her mind, and you have to stimulate that mind in order for her body to work. Now, as far as the health, I've been there. I've had a stroke at one point in time in 2017 or whatever. And when any woman goes through anything that intense for their body, and I have one side that's completely shut down. I can't lift anything. I can't walk. That depression that sets in of not being able to do for yourself is enough to change anything. You go from being so independent to now having to depend on someone, and there's no time frame, and unfortunately, your spouse thinks, okay, 6 months is going by, we should be good. That's not the case. A month, 2 months can go by, 6 months can go by, a year could go by. There's no time frame of those things, so it's very important, just like Janella said, is when you are seeking professional help from a physician, both parties need to be present so that there's understanding on both sides on what is going to transpire from this point on.
Yeah, I like that you said both parties should be there. And it's funny because I've actually talked about this on SOS too, when you have a partner who can't perform, who may be dealing with erectile dysfunction, or maybe dealing with premature ejaculation, or they can't maintain an erection, or whatever the case may be. Um, and they have never had a physical, never had an exam before.
Mhm.
I encourage them, take your spouse with you. She needs to hear what's going on. She needs to understand. And also, um, she can ask questions,
Mhm.
because oftentimes the wife has a question she doesn't know how to ask, her spouse. She doesn't want to make him feel bad. She doesn't want to make him feel even more insecure than what he already is feeling, or embarrassed or ashamed, or whatever the case may be. So she's not sure how to communicate or articulate what she's going through, what she's feeling, and how it's affecting her, because she wants to support him. And so taking your spouse with you to the doctor is huge, so that you guys can get that understanding together. All right. So there are 10 pregnancies / babies between the three of us. Oh no, is it 11? 11. 11. So we know a little bit, just a little bit about childbirth. So Janella, you started to segue into how childbirth can affect your sex life. So I'm going to pass it back to you for you to go ahead and expound on that, educate the people.
Yes. Okay. Pregnancy is beautiful in itself. I mean, we don't want to act like it's a huge plague, because I think I've seen somewhere in the comments someone say they're trying to avoid it. But actually, pregnancy is so beautiful, and that's how you got here. So, it's
Exactly.
something that is needed so we can continue to procreate and have people on this earth. So, but during the time of pregnancy, a woman really just do not know how her body is going to respond. And I could tell you, if you ask each one of us, we will say that each pregnancy was different. So you don't know what you're going to get until you're there. But one thing for sure is it will not last always, whatever side of the spectrum you're on. So if you're having problems with your pregnancy, if you're getting your regular checkups and going to the doctor like you are supposed to, you can address some of the issues that you may be having. And I just love the encouragement of having the spouse there at the doctor's appointments, even during the pregnancy. That's still a good idea. So you can witness and see what's going on. But as far as like the problems that may show up, like we mentioned, high blood pressure and diabetes, things that your spouse or significant other may not have dealt with prior to the pregnancy, can show up in the pregnancy. So now she may have to take her blood sugar on a daily basis. She may even have to start taking insulin or blood pressure, just medications or aspirins on a daily basis, just different things that may come up that was not there. So what is adding? Probably going to be stressful now, because one, you worrying about the baby that you're carrying. Now you have the health issues. Now you're worrying about your spouse because he's not getting any, or you may not want to give any. So it's a lot of different issues that can show up during the pregnancy. But when you have those open, candid conversations, it can actually maybe lead to some suggestions to help you during those problems if they show up. So things can definitely happen in a pregnancy that may make the wife may not want to perform. But rest assured, if she has a safe delivery, it'll get back to where it used to be. Sometimes you just need a little patience during the process.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I think about me and like how I was feeling after giving birth. There was only one that was not a C-section. So literally, I had 3 C-sections, and that recovery time is ridiculous. I mean, it is insane, that recovery time. And then I just remember just having this wide range of hormones going on, because I was nursing also. And that's a whole nother subject, right? When you're nursing, that affects your hormone levels as well. But I mean, it's just one of those things where it's natural, it's a normal thing, and you expect that your spouse is going to be considerate of that process and that healing and recovery time. And just because the doctor says 6 weeks, like you said, she may not be ready. And so you got to be considerate and thoughtful and patient. And that's a conversation that you guys have to have together. Because is it okay for your spouse to masturbate while you don't want to have sex? Like, are you okay with that? Those are conversations that you guys have to make sure that everybody's getting what they need. Jewel, did you want to chime in there?
I was saying that, keep in mind when it comes to this situation, this is where communication really, really, really has to happen. Not only with your spouse, but you have to be extremely honest with your physician as well, that you have no sex drive and it's been going on for a period of time, because it may just be the medication that you're on. It may be just them changing some, medications that you're taking, or taking you off some, or adding something more natural, so there is a conversation to be had. And do not think that your spouse understands. He is not a woman. He has no clue what's going on in your body. Yes, we can say, well, he should know. I just had a baby. I'm not feeling this. No, he should not know. He should not know. That's why it's important that they go to the doctors with you, so that he does have a better understanding. But you have to communicate to your spouse, this is why I'm unable to have sex. This is how I feel. And this is how it makes me feel when you keep coming at me, to have sex. It's not that I don't love you. It's not that I don't want to be with you. Right now, I'm hurting. I'm in pain. I feel this way. I feel that way. You have to kind of over communicate your feelings and your emotion and what's going on, so that they understand, opposed to, didn't I just say I'm not wanting to do it? Or can't you? I just had a baby.
Yeah. And to your point, pressure sex is not popping. Okay. Pressure sex is not where it's at. This is not a type of sex you want to be trying to have. Okay. So you guys, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
When 45 men from all walks of life come together in one place for one purpose, there is a collective harmony that produces an amplification of power that leaves an impact on the lives of men that cannot be erased. A fraternity of legendary men, all at the tipping point, on the precipice of greatness, meeting for one weekend to turn their worlds inside out. For the first time ever, the Foundry experience. Not an event, not a seminar or retreat, but an opportunity to come face to face with the man you were always destined to be. If you want a life that's better than the one that you are living, meet us January 2023 for the Foundry experience.
Welcome back, you guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging in here with us. We are talking about how sexless marriages contribute to infidelity. But I need to shout out the people. Hello, Mr. Ben Faithful. Team Smith in the house. What's up, my brother Gonzalez? Drew, you want to say hey to your boo? Daryl, JJ, Christina, Sandy, the Rue Life International Show. Okay, I see you. Tamika, Scott, JJ, Marilyn, Kenny, Poppet, A. That's it. One letter. A. Dark Knight K. Denise Hastings, JD Pruitt, Tori. Welcome. Thanks for watching, you guys. We appreciate it. So again, we were talking about reasons why there are often sexless marriages, and we were talking about health and medical issues, and we're talking about childbirth and how that can affect your sex life. And so leading into that, kids, how many times have you been about to get to know your spouse and you heard
mommy.
Listen, I do not want to hear a child's voice. I don't want to smell you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. Nothing when I'm about to engage in some fellowship with my husband. How many times has that happened? So kids, all the time I say, man, I love them. They're beautiful, like you said, Janella, but they are blockers. That is what they are. They prevent us from having a good time. So one of the things that we have to do, obviously, when they're infants and they're babies and they're toddlers, and you're in that stage of trying to train them and getting them to sleep through the night, and all of those phases and stages that we go through, once they get older, it's easier because you can set those boundaries where it's like, listen, if the house is not burning down, if you're not bleeding, something not broke, it can wait. It can totally wait. Do not come in here. Do not bother us. Okay. We're having mommy, daddy, grown-up time. So what say you, Janella? Because you got a little one.
Yes,
a little one right now.
So the good thing about Roland and I, we waited 7 years before we had our first child. So we got to experience the freedom for a long time without having kids. So we know what that's like. So we didn't get married and then just start popping out kids. We waited some time. So we're a little patient with them because we know that, we'll get back to business at some point. But yes, we do have small kids. Our oldest son is 12. And I was surprised, blessing from the Lord, is 2 years old. So life is fun. And we have a 6-year-old too. So it's like those kids have like antennas, like they can sense. Mommy and daddy might, it's like everybody has a need. And we're like, no, we have a need. So we definitely have to work around them. And we have become very, very creative because we are not trying to lack. We're not trying to create any issues, but those little critters will show up. At them, and then trying to get, please, if they're not sleeping in your bed, if you have small kids, do not start it. Please.
Yes.
It will be a long time before you can get them out. So if you haven't started it, do not allow those kids to sleep in your bed because they think that your bed is heaven sent and they will want to be there all the time. So please do not start that. But if you are dealing with that, you have to come up with a plan to get those kids out your bed and out your room.
Preach.
You have to create that space for you and your husband that do not include the kids. Yes, you still love them. Yes, you still care. Yes, you're a great mommy, and you can be a great mommy while they sleep in the other room because you don't want the kids to be the reason that you and your husband are not taking care of each other's needs.
Ain't nothing else to say. As soon as you say, I was ready to say, don't put them babies in them bed. Don't put them in the bed. My children never slept in my bed. I don't care how many times I had to get up and go check on them in their cribs. You was not getting in my bed, and it is. They get so used to, cuddling up with mommy and daddy. And then when you are ready for them to go out. They're not ready to go out. And, at first, everybody is all cuddling. Mommy and daddy is all comfortable with it and happy. And then all of a sudden, mommy or daddy wants mommy or daddy. And the baby is just like, hello, hey, I'm right here. So don't start it. Don't start it. Don't start
Yeah. So one more thing I want to talk about, you guys, is how finances affect our bedroom activity. And so, Jewel, I'm about to swing your way on this one. But this is something, let me tell you, my dear aunt, you guys, my auntie said that it is difficult back when she was married, and she's older now, but she said it's difficult to get stimulated when my bills are not paid. It's hard to focus on sex when we over here trying to salvage what little bit we have. So, Miss Jewel, you want to speak on how finances affect?
I'm just tripping off of that comment, because that is just so true. I mean, if you and your spouse truly have to communicate about finances, because that is one of the biggest things that will put a wedge between a marriage, is not being on the same accord when it comes to money. And Keisha, I mean, we joke about it, but how do you engage in any type of intimacy when you are laying there thinking about, are the lights going to get shut off? Do we pay the mortgage? Are we going to have enough money for this? Or you're the budgeter in the house and you're keeping track of everything, and your spouse, whether it's male or female, is at the mall shopping, and for us, we're like, babe, we just wanted to look good for you. And they like, take that back. So sitting down and coming up with a budget and coming up with a plan. One, it starts communication. It starts a line of communication. Two, it will relieve the pressure on both of you to know where you are financially. And it will allow, when you guys have that intimate time where there's not that stress hanging over you of how things are going to be taken care of. Not knowing if you're going to have a roof over your head is enough to take any mood away.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'm telling you, it's already difficult for women many times to focus anyway during sex, because our minds are always racing. We're always thinking about what we need to do, what we have going on. We have these checklists, we have all this stuff that we have to do. So we already struggle, excuse me, anyway, with, trying to keep a clear mind and making sure that we're staying present and focused in the moment. So when you're having financial difficulty, honey, it's hard. It's hard to stay focused. So I do want to get to some of you guys' comments and questions, because you took the time to write them. So let me see, who was that? Somebody asked a question, which was a very good question. Mr. Scott, what would you verify as a sexless marriage? And so, Mr. Scott, what a sexless marriage is one that obviously you're not having sex, or you're not engaging in any type of sexual activity. That's the definition. You're not engaging in any type of sexual activity, or you're having minimal sexual encounters. That's how we, or how the experts define a sexless marriage. So hopefully that helps you with that. Mr. Ben, good morning from Tennessee. Preach. Okay, you like this topic, Mr. Ben.
Yes, Ben.
He says sex is energy to men. We didn't forsake all others to get none. Quality matters also. Say it's out of duty or participate like that, and you're speaking death into your marriage. Act like you appreciate forsaking all others, or there will be a vulnerability for others. As an unfaithful, wholeheartedly agree. Desire is sexy. Obligation is not. Rant over. Then he says, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This episode needs to be spread. So y'all do that. People who watching, y'all like, share, and subscribe. That's y'all job to do. But Mr. Ben, everything you said is absolutely right. We do I understand, especially since, you know, this is what I've studied. I understand that sex is energy to men, and it's extremely important for you guys. And I think tomorrow there will be a part 2 of this, and we'll talk about why sex is so important to men. So I think that'll be a good segue into that for tomorrow when we continue this discussion. Hey Daryl, he said these are running things I see. That's right. Yes, we are, sir. Yes, we are. All right. Do we have any? Oh, okay. Why I avoid pregnancy like the plague is Russian roulette with a woman, nature's cruel trick. Listen, there are things you can do to prevent pregnancy. That's on you. All right. A says it's really hard to have sex with my husband after the affair. It's going on a year, but I still think about the affair. All right, ladies, one of you want to speak to this? I definitely understand where she's coming from on this one.
Oh, am I muted? Yes. First of all, you and your husband really need to make sure you are communicating about this topic, because, you know, you said it's been a year and a half. So I don't know if you guys have had any counseling. So you definitely want to seek that counseling. But I also would say is, if you are still struggling with visuals or just not being able to, you know, be intimate with your husband mentally, physically, emotionally, because you're still focused on his affair partner, you need to come up with some ways to, how do you rectify that? You know, what could you, you know, it's been a while, you know, what work are you doing to change that vision in your mind? Is he showing up the right way? Are you showing up the right? There's so many different things that could be, you know, a scenario in this situation. Been there, done that. But one of the things that I had to do was I had to start focusing on more positive things. When those thoughts would come to mind, I had to be the one to shut them down. I had to be the one to say, okay, I'm not doing this. My objective is to move forward and not stay stuck. So I had to intentionally keep putting other things in my mind. As soon as they pop up, it's just like I had to say, okay, I'm choosing to stay in this marriage. So now I have to choose to get rid of some of these things that's in my head and not allow them to consume me.
Yeah, that's good, Joel. Really, really good. And you know, there is roles and responsibilities on both sides. And you've been seeing that schedule a discovery call pop up on this screen. Reach out, get support. We're here to help you guys through that. All right, guys, a couple more comments and then we'll go ahead and log off. Dark Knight says, good morning, ladies. As a man, I've learned that when it comes to sex, a man gets it when he can. A woman gets it when she wants. Not trying to be sexist and blame a woman, but a lot of times women turn down men intimately. And in my case, I have developed a fear of asking for it. And consequently, I have learned to live without it. Thoughts? Mr. Dark Knight, I'm going to say to you, what is the why behind the no? And so there may be something there that can help you. I don't know if you've had conversations with your partner or spouse to ask why you're being turned down. I understand that fear of rejection after you've been rejected so many times. Yes, it does make you uncomfortable with continuing to ask for it. But what is her why? Why is she saying no to sex? Usually it's because of a pretty significant reason. I don't know your situation, but again, we're here to help you with that. Definitely, you know, I'm here to help you. You better start watching SOS Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Let me get you some assistance, my brother. Denise, hormonal changes are tough. Sometimes you feel like your body is not your own. Having a spouse not understand that or sensitive to that can cause a deeper connect. You want to speak to her, Janella?
Yes, and that is so key. We have been talking about communication, and even in that area, you have to keep communicating and have him go with you to your doctor's appointment. We said that earlier. That is so important. So they can, maybe they can't hear it from you, but they may be able to hear it from someone else. And sometimes just learning more about it may help, but sometimes the person just they're just insensitive, and we have to work on that. There are roles that each of us have to play in that. So if your spouse have an issue, you have an issue, and it's important that you have a common ground and try to find a way to resolve that. And them understanding what is happening and having that sensitivity can possibly bridge that gap that's happening in that area. So
And Janella, I mean, let me add on there real quick. If he cannot make it to your doctor's appointment, YouTube. Go on YouTube, whatever the illness situation is, pull it up, let him watch the documentaries, let him watch the surgeries, let him watch whatever it is for him to get a clear understanding on what you're going through.
And you hope that one day they wouldn't have to experience that. If one day, he may be a pillar of health right now, but let's say something happened to him and he can't perform or his body begins to change, he would want you to understand and be patient and have that sympathy. So sometimes we get on our high horses and we forget that life can make those tables turn real quickly, and you would want somebody to empathize and sympathize with you and not body shame you and talk about your personal parts and make you feel some kind of way. So we need to walk really lightly with our spouses when they're going through different situations in their lives.
Absolutely. Such powerful points you guys are making. I'm just going to add one more comment to that. And it's when you try to use the Bible to try to coerce your spouse into having sex, that they are responsible, like they are obligated to have sex with you, going again into that pressure sex. Like, that's not sexy. Nobody is signing up for pressure sex. Like, sex should be something that we are both mutually enjoying, that we both want to participate in, that we both want to be a part of. And oftentimes the reason why someone is not running to the bedroom is because there's nothing there exciting waiting for them. So we have control over whether or not we get excited about having sex. There are things that we can do to make it more pleasurable, to make it more fun, to make it more exciting, but you got to be willing to do the work, just like every other aspect of your relationship. So anyway, you guys are watching the Couples Academy show. I'm so thankful I got to party and play around with my sisters today. We hope you guys got some information, some good information. And as Mr. Smith said, please like, share, and subscribe. We will be back here tomorrow. Probably not the three of us, but somebody will be here tomorrow. Hassani will be back, I think. And so we'll be right here at our normal time tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in. Watch Before I Do. If you are single, watch Before I Do tonight at 9:30.
It's 9:30.
9:30 p.m. Make sure you tune in. If you are single, thinking about being married, even if you are married, there's still something you can learn, because it may be something that you missed. So make sure you tune into that. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. Happy hump day. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.